Hi, and welcome to a special edition of the PMFRC Fireside Chat. As you can see, we have a very full house today. I will introduce our guests in 1 second, but what I did want to let you know is today we're talking about a program that's being offered called Soldiers in Tech. It is a really exciting initiative, and there will be information about workshops and different sessions that are coming up. If somebody talks about a website link or an email or a telephone number and you really want to follow up, we're going to have all that stuff in the comments. I wanted to make sure everybody knew beforehand that if there's anything that you want to follow up, and you definitely will want to, that all of that is going to be there. Let's go around the table of the folks that we have joining us today. Jennifer Gross and Roland Gossage are from the Roland Gossage Foundation. We have Deanna DeVito and Maggie Santos from LightHouse Labs. We have Janet Koopman from the Employment Service Office at the PMFRC, Louise Anderson from our Veteran Family Program at the PMFRC, and then, as always, Claudia Beswick, our Executive Director, who is here to join us. As you can tell from the folks around the table, this is a really exciting program for CAF members who are going through that transition and looking at life after service and maybe looking to retrain and start in a different life path. And this is an opportunity for them to get that behind them and get that training below their belt so they can find those opportunities and find a new direction and something that is going to be fulfilling for them in their next phase of life. Before we do, Claudia, do you want to give like a couple of quick points about what's new at the PMFRC?
Sure. Just a couple of things this week. We have our emotional toolkit workshop for children and youth that is on again. It was quite popular when we ran them the last time. So we have two age groups coming up. On the 23rd of March is for the 8 to 12-year-old group. And then on the 29th of March is the 5 to 7-year-old group. And they both begin at 4:30 and it will be at the Southside Community Center. There's also the Kids in Deployment supporting the Home Front happening on the 23rd of March and also at the Southside Community Center starting at 5 p.m. The Museum Day, which aligns with March break, pretty excited about that. And that obviously will be at the Garrison Petawawa Museum. We have a couples workshop happening on the 26th of March with a great facilitator coming in and a co-parenting workshop on the 30th of March. So we are gearing up, returning to a lot of in-person activities. So if you haven't already checked out our activities page or our calendar, or if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, then I encourage you to do so because we have a lot of good things happening. And then, of course, oh no, this is next week, right? I was going to say the Wellness Day, but it'll have been done. So there we go.
Roland, thank you for joining us. It's great to have you here. I guess a good way to start would just be to talk a little bit about, can you tell us a little bit about the Roland Gossage Foundation and also about the Soldiers in Tech program, you know, how it came about and who it was intended for?
Yes, so a little bit of background on me. I served for 10 years in the Canadian Armed Forces. I discharged in the early, or actually mid 2000s. And what I did was obviously stayed involved with the regiment and things of that nature. But I talked to other soldiers and found that people were having issues transitioning or dealing with things like mental health and things of veterans come when they try to find their sort of second part of life after leaving the military. And really, the foundation was put together to bring awareness to veterans, as well as their struggles of coming out of the military and beginning a civilian life. And so one of the programs I'd spent, 25 years of my life in technology. And it's a high demand market. It's well-paying jobs. It's very rewarding. And we found there was a lot of interest in the technology that I'd been working with the last 25 years with some of the veterans. And so the Soldiers in Tech program, which is one of our initiatives, is really to help veterans transition to civilian life using technologies to open up that new chapter. And the high-level goals is really to help Canadian veterans and their families. So we do look at it as the families as well, not just the actual veteran. And build awareness of this amazing asset that we have in our veterans. So it's also working with corporate Canada to really educate people on this asset that we have. When people describe, what's the perfect employee, they list off a lot of the attributes that a veteran would have. And so this program, we worked very closely with our partner here, LightHouse Labs. I actually utilized LightHouse Labs for my own company. One of my companies is a software company, and they did such an amazing job. I approached them and said, hey, would you like to partner and help?
Perfect. You cut out a little bit there, but we got to help. So I think that that was the point that we want to get across. There's three specific streams of study, or three specific areas that fall under soldiers in tech. Can you talk about what those are and why you chose those as sort of the linchpins for this program?
There we go. Hopefully I'm not so choppy this time. Yeah, so really we started with a boot camp, and that was the main focus. And it's a very intense, and military people are used to boot camps. It's a very intense course, and essentially what you learn in college or university in 3 years, you basically learn in a matter of 12 weeks. So it's very intense, but we've had great success with it. We've also modified and added additional courses on a part-time basis. So these are a little less intense, and they're a little bit more focused. So there might be introduction to HTML, or it might be big data and database usage, or cybersecurity. And then we've also taken the bootcamp course and extended it to more of a less rapid pace for those who are also working today and looking to retrain. So we're trying to make it as flexible as humanly possible, so that every veteran that enters any of the courses is successful with the curriculum.
So those workshops are like a great opportunity if you're not necessarily sure about, is this the path for you? Is sometimes, like a lot of times with tech, you're not necessarily sure sort of all of the parts that are behind a job. A lot of the jobs I find in tech didn't even exist when I was going through and trying to decide what I wanted to be when I grew up. So this is a great opportunity to get a better idea of the scope of what is involved in some of these career paths. Deanna, you and Maggie are with LightHouse Labs, and as Roland said, that he went to you to talk about putting together the platform for these courses. Can you tell us a little bit about what they work, how they work, and what's sort of the time commitment behind it if somebody wanted to join one of these programs?
Absolutely. So just to give you a little bit of a background on LightHouse Labs, we launched in 2013, and our mission is to really give Canadians the skills that they need to succeed in the digital workforce. We've delivered hands-on tech education to over 40,000 Canadians, and obviously constantly looking to grow that number and really get tech education out to everybody. All of our courses are online, meaning you can do them from anywhere in Ontario, anywhere across the country, which really opens up that access. So Roland definitely gave a great introduction, and I'll dive a little bit deeper into what our programs look like. Of course, keeping it short and simple. So the two main offers that I'd really like to highlight today within our Soldiers in Tech program are our boot camps and our workshops. So our boot camps are offered in two formats: the full-time, which is the 12-week format, and the flexible format, which is that 30-week format that Roland was talking about. The full-time model is very intensive. So you have about 2 hours of synchronous lecture time every single day, every single weekday, the weekends you have off. And then the remainder of your time is spent really doing that asynchronous self-study. So you are studying for about 40 to 50 hours a week when you kind of look at your week at a bird's eye view. So it does look kind of like a full-time job, but that's why you're able to really ramp up your learning in that 12 weeks and emerge the other end ready for that new career. And so you can see why we really use the word intensive there. But our flexible schedule, on the other hand, you're looking at about 20 to 25 hours a week of self-study and only 4 hours of lecture time, which means that you can, address those other commitments, maybe a part-time job, maybe that's taking care of your children, spending time with your family. You have a little bit more flexibility in your life to just balance everything that comes with life. That course, as I said, is about 30 weeks long. So it is a little bit longer, but again, you're emerging at the other end with the same skills and the same knowledge that you would have out of the 12-week boot camp. And all of our boot camps feature amazing instructors and a team of mentors to help answer any question that you might have. So we have these on-demand mentors through our system called Rudder. And so anytime you have an academic question, they're there for you. They've got that covered. Our boot camps do take time, they do take dedication, but they are incredibly rewarding because once you do finish, you have that new career waiting for you on the other end, whatever that looks like. So it could be a very specific tech role, it could be something tech adjacent, right? In those 12 weeks or those 30 weeks, you really find out what you like and what you'd like to pursue a little bit further within that career. The specific topics that we offer are web development, cybersecurity, data science, and data analytics, which is actually launching in the coming months. So to learn a little bit more about each bootcamp, I definitely recommend checking out our website. They have the curriculum and everything on there, and the link will be in the comments section. So make sure you check that out. The other program that I'd like to highlight, which Julie discussed, was the workshops. And so this is a much shorter offering. Think 3 to 4 hours, right? So not too much time, definitely something you can achieve in an evening or a Saturday morning. And you learn just something new, a quick new skill. And so you can see if this topic is a great fit for you. So you can maybe explore a workshop later, or you can then explore some of the other training offerings we have as well. So we specifically offer workshops in cybersecurity essentials, JavaScript, and HTML and CSS. Now, I know some of those things you might be like, what is that? So our cybersecurity workshop, pretty self-explanatory. It's just an introduction to what is cybersecurity, what that includes. The JavaScript workshop teaches you about creating web-based applications. So think like chatbots, right? When you're on a website, you're talking to someone, you'll create something like that through the 3-hour workshop. And then the HTML and CSS workshop help you to make pretty web pages, which is really important if you're making a web page. You want it to be functional. You want someone that comes on it to be able to navigate it really easily. So those are 2 essential languages that will help you achieve that. Our workshops are synchronous. So you're going to be with the instructor the entire time and with your other classmates. And usually we'll have a break or 2 so you can run to the washroom, grab a glass of water, whatever you need. So it's not just 3 hours of staring at a screen. The 3-hour workshops are on weekday evenings, and then the 4-hour workshop, which is specifically for cyber essentials, is on a Saturday morning. They're very hands-on. Our instructors are amazing, and you'll hear more about how to sign up for these later on. It will also be in the comment section below, and we also have a really exciting giveaway if you register and attend a workshop, but I will leave that to the end.
Louise, you have spent a lot of time working with people who are thinking about that transition to post-service life, who have had a career in the military, have had time in the military, and they're looking at moving in a different direction. What are some of the issues that you tell people to consider, or you ask people to consider when they're making decisions about where they want to go once their time in the CAF is done?
There are so many different aspects to consider, Julie. When you're thinking about what you want to do, you have to consider where you're at mentally as well as physically. Do you want to work, or do you want to go back to school? What type of work do you want to do? What type of work can you do? I mean, again, do you want to just work with a little job, or do you want a career? Do you want something just to keep you busy and give you a sense of purpose, or do you want like full on, this is my time to shine kind of job? Those are some of the things that we talk about, but mostly it's, are you capable? Probably can't do what you did before physically because you're releasing for a reason. It's a medical category, so it's a back thing. And oftentimes I do steer people towards the tech industry because it's a job you can sit down, you can stand up, you can become self-employed, so you can work when you need to work rather than when you have to work. All of those aspects need consideration when you're planning a successful second career.
And if it's a brand new area, maybe something you hadn't considered, that workshop idea of like taking 3 or 4 hours and do I like sort of doing that programming, and sort of how does this work? Is this something that's going to be realistic for me that I'm going to want to spend the next 10, 15 years working on? Yeah. Jana, you are in our employment service team, and also you deal with a lot of people who are thinking about that transition, thinking about new careers. Also under that banner of Employment Ontario. What services can your team offer in conjunction with a program like this for people who really want to do a retraining program, who are interested in soldiers in tech? What are the kinds of things that you could help people with to complement these kinds of programs?
Well, we do a lot of work we work closely with the BPSO's office, the Base Personnel Selections Office on base. So we've worked with some of the people who are looking at leaving the military. and supporting them with resumes and interview prep and that sort of stuff. And then there's a lot of career decision making. So there's the labor market and, you know, sort of where we see the trends going. And a lot of these programs, digital programs and the ones offered by Soldiers in Tech are clearly, there's good employment prospects in that sector. So there's a lot of growth and there's a lot of interest in it. But some people just don't have the technological skills in order to be able to move into a boot camp scenario confidently. So part of what we help them do is figure out where are the skills gaps that you need before you can get into training. And we can help with referrals to literacy and basic skills, which is also under our Employment Ontario umbrella. And actually, they've gotten more money through the Skills to Success funding. And locally, one of our LBSs is actually creating a program specifically for veterans and getting them ready for that next educational transition and just bringing computer skills and digital literacy up to where it needs to be in order for people to feel confident moving into a program like this. So what we do is provide that insight. We provide those referrals and resources. We can help them figure out what they have already and what they need in order to get the things that they want. And we provide that. It's free, confidential, bilingual, and yeah, also a lot of support for the spouses of military people in the military and veteran families as well, in helping them connect with programs and training options that will help them move forward in their life too.
Claudia, it's clear from the discussions we've had that programs like Soldiers in Tech really work very closely with the kinds of services that we provide for military members, for veterans, for their spouses. And it's always nice to have these types of programs to refer folks to when they are at a crossroads and making a decision about where they want to go. How do families benefit from these types of partnerships and referrals to organizations like the Roland Gossage Foundation and this program, Soldiers in Tech?
Well, like you said, Julie, families in general have a broad range of programs and services available to them, and sometimes they don't necessarily know everything that they can participate in or have information on. And MFRCs, we commonly work within our communities to raise awareness about all the services and programs available, whether we're providing it, whether it's coming from a community partner or a stakeholder. We can't do it alone. And working together provides families the opportunity to really integrate into the community, figure out, you know, much like what Louise said, what is their life post, CAF and even for families. So it's really helping develop that a variety of network of supports for the veteran, for the family. And our partnerships and collaborations is really fundamental to how we support the CAF community. We don't only share similar mandates, we also have the passion to provide the best level of support that we can for families. And that gets back to that positive impact. So I've said it many times, no door is the wrong door. Opportunities like this where we can kind of showcase some really good opportunities that are out there, we'll take every advantage of that. And we work hard at trying to stay connected to ensure that we're familiar with everybody's programs as well. Where we work together, where we can work together, we do, but essentially it's just ensuring we can support families however we can. And if we aren't the service provider, then we will make sure that the families, we can do that warm transition for the families for whichever service that they would prefer to go to.
So Jennifer, let's talk about the important questions. Who is eligible to join the programs? How would someone sign up? How much does it cost? If someone is really interested in pursuing this or maybe has some questions about their unique circumstances, who can they go to? How do we make this idea of Soldiers in Tech a reality for somebody who really wants to start that next step?
Okay, well, all of our programs are free and our eligibility includes veterans, their spouses, and spouses of reservists and active members. If you are a reservist or an active member who's looking to transition out soon, please reach out and we can see what we can do to help you into this as well. If you're interested in taking a boot camp through our program, we're currently starting a wait list because we have some new programs coming in the spring. So if you just visit the Roland Gossage Foundation website, and there's loads on there to learn more about it, and you can sign up for those. And LightHouse Labs will reach out to you right away. In the meantime, we do have some more workshops coming up. So we have cybersecurity essentials, HTML, and the CCS or the JavaScript. Those are coming up to the middle and end of March. So sign up, just head our website to RolandGossageFoundation.com. click on the register here, and there's loads of options for different times and such, and you can just sign up there. We also have currently running an ongoing contest where eligible participants are entered into a draw to win one of 5 $100 gift cards for a grocery store of their choice if you register for a workshop. And yeah, that's what we got.
So we're going to put all of those links below so people can check that out. There's a world of possibilities that are open there. And I think so often as we get into a rut of sort of always doing what we've always done and not necessarily looking at different horizons or different things to do. Military spouses, oftentimes, you know, you get to the point where you're at a career crossroads. Maybe this is an opportunity to learn a new skill, try something different, and build a career that maybe you can take with you or work remotely in, or like people said, be your own boss and really have control about those next sort of steps. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add before we go?
I guess one closing note just on that is obviously these are full scholarships, so it is completely funded by the Roland Gossage Foundation in conjunction with our government friends who are very supportive, which is the Ontario government. And I want people to be very open-minded about this. You might not have thought of yourself as a technical person. Again, we have all different sort of qualification levels, so it doesn't hurt to find something out. We can also, through conversation with you, help guide you as well in conjunction with this team, this great team here, into making sure that you're, you know, if you need to, you know, crawl, walk, run, we'll make sure that you're successful the whole way through. The other thing too is don't worry if you do not have a laptop. The foundation will provide you one as part of the course at no cost. So there shouldn't be hopefully any barriers to entry other than, you know, is this the right thing for you or not?
Thank you all
For
for
those that
joining.
don't, I guess one last thing is that for those who may not like the tech thing, we also, when you visit the website, we do have soldiers in the arts. So there are people who are aspiring actors or want to work in front or behind the camera on stage. We also have that program as well, if say the technology side is not as interesting as we all find it. Looking
at the whole well-rounded person, absolutely. Thank you all for joining us. I appreciate everybody taking the time. All of those links are going to be below. So if this is something that you're considering, if this is something you're sort of exploring or wondering, is this a path for me? Now's the time to take that opportunity, take that workshop, find out, call the Roland Gossage Foundation, find out what those opportunities are, and maybe this is your new career path. Thank you all for taking the time. We will see you shortly.